history overall, and there are so many things that white women didn't physically do but enabled throughout history that can't be forgiven. And a part of that is slavery. And I don't give a fuck what people say about white women being marginalized. They had plenty strength back then to at least try and convince their husbands that what they were doing was fuckery. Yeah. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I think throughout history, they have been the most protected of all women. I mean, all women are subjugated, but white women are the most protected out of all women.
Well, and if people are like, well, that's, racist or whatever, think about this. In 1993, 94, a judge by the name of Clarence Thomas sexually harassed and assaulted a black woman that worked in his office by the name of... See? I don't remember her name.
That's it.
Right? Mm-hmm. This is the problem.
Yeah.
But I remember Jennifer Flowers, and I remember Monica Lewinsky, and it's because it's obvious. We didn't want to hear about a black woman getting raped.
Well, they allow the white woman to be a victim. They allow it, right? You can be a victim, but with any woman that's a POC in their situation, they're almost to blame. Like, it must be your fault.
Yeah.
The judge wouldn't have done this willingly. You must have caused it. And that's what happened to Clarence Thomas victim, right?
Yeah.
And I don't.
Isn't that horrible? We don't remember her name.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
But that's what they try to do. They market it. They marketed the shit out of Monica Lewinsky for 20 years, man. Even to this day, she could still get up and write a book. She did. And they listen, they buy it.
I saw that.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? It's tragic, dude. It's because, the white woman, not exactly the white woman is marketable, but the tragic story of the white woman is the marketable thing. And it's the agenda that they tried to push with Hillary Clinton. And it's the agenda that, in some countries worked. It worked in Germany. It worked in New Zealand. It worked in these countries that have white women at the helm.
Yeah.
Right? And they're trying to do that in America. They're trying, dude. Right? But they can't get that woman. You know what I mean? They can't get around the fact that the woman that they should be having, if they really want to bring women up, not just white women, but women, is the woman's not white. They can't grasp that. Kamala, people are like, oh, Joe's going to go down. Kamala's going to be president. No, dude. Kamala's not going to be president. They can't handle that. Yeah. That is not a white woman. It don't matter, it doesn't matter, what you think the agenda is. In the end, they don't want to put her up on the ultimate pedestal because that will say something.
And I hate to, I just want to interject real quick. Anita Hill. Love that. I always remember that too. I don't know why I forgot that. Yeah, she was victimized by Clarence Thomas.
Famous.
Yeah.
Right? But it's the white woman, buddy. And, he was right when he said that. I loved it. Put your Gucci foot over the fence of oppression. Right?
Yeah, he nailed it, man. He nailed it 100%. And I think it's even more interesting when he was talking about Gay Pride Month being June and Black History Month being February.
Yeah.
Only being 28 days. And me and Rosie have had this conversation. I've said, why the fuck? Okay, I know it's just symbolic. I understand it's just symbolic. But if it's symbolic, why the fuck did they choose the shortest possible month? I don't get it.
I don't know.
You could say it's deliberate or not. I don't know how the decision was made to choose February, but the fact that he said that these are equator people and you give them the cold ass month of February, which is the shortest month.
Yeah.
It's so sharp. It's so sharp. And people don't like it because it's fucking true.
And he's been doing that his whole career though, too. Like, you think about it, like some of his jokes, he pushes the race card, but he makes fun of the race card, right? He makes fun of people being racist because it is a joke. Like that one where he's like, I'm sitting in a bar and it's talking, right? You remember that one? Saw a black guy come on the screen. He's like, and then someone says the N-word right beside, and you're like, man, why'd you got to say that? Right?
Well, and I think a part of it that is he can identify because he's married to a black woman, right? Mm-hmm. So I think he has I mean, comedians take their real life and turn it into their stand-up.
He's a real deal, man.
So he's got some insight, man. He's got some insight. He's on the inside. He's deeply connected to a POC. So,
do you think that? Okay, I'm gonna put something out to you.
Okay.
So you know how when black comedians make fun of their culture, it's because they've gone through so much, and the only thing you can do is make jokes about it to make people listen about it, you know?
Yeah.
You know, when you hear the greats talk about, you know, make jokes about slavery or make jokes about oppression and stuff, they do that.
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle's great at it, right? He made great jokes with the blind racist. You know what I mean? Like, great. Do you think that this now method has been adopted by white comedians who see that the end of white culture is happening? That there is perhaps a cleansing of the white culture happening right now? Because there kind of is.
There is, yeah.
Black Lives Matters is just the tip of the iceberg.
Mm-hmm.
What's really happening. Mm-hmm. And the world is like colorizing, right? Everyone's becoming mixed.
Yeah, it's going to be a big cultural shift.
Right. Mm-hmm. So do you think that now this is it? Like white people are, you know, taking this road of kind of, they're going to start making fun of themselves. Like what Bill Burr did was in essence made fun of himself and his culture.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some of that. And I think it's going to be disingenuous and laughed at, not in a way that you're funny, but you're just not going to get airtime if you're disingenuous with how you're approaching your comedy like this. And I think it's happened a few times. Like, what's that one stand-up comic's name that made a really stupid Kobe joke after Kobe had passed?
Oh, I heard about that.
I can't remember his name. Maybe it's a good thing we can't remember his name. But he said some stupid shit about Kobe Bryant after he passed. And I think his persona was disingenuous from way before that. And he just basically outed himself with that idiotic comment, right? So I think if you're disingenuous, you're going to go. But no, I think Bill Burr's always been here in this space of being as offensive as possible. He never gives a fuck.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen him on daytime talk shows, he is the worst.
He's a bad guest.
And he's deliberate.
He loves it.
Oh, every minute of it. So yeah, no, applaud Bill Burr, man.
Top 3 most controversial comedians in history.
Man. Richard Pryor's got to be number 1, or if not, close to the top spot, just because of his personality outside of his comedy. Not many people set themselves on fire because they're so fucking high, right?
It's crazy.
Yeah, so he's got to be top, at the very, very, very top. I mean, I would say I'd like to say Eddie Murphy, but he lived a pretty clean life overall. You know, he had that little fuck up with the prostitute.
Transvestite?
Yeah, the transgender.
Transgender
prostitute.
LTPGQ.
Yeah. But outside of that, he's lived a pretty... So I can't really put him in there. I think Sam Kinison, because he was fucking crazy.
Sam Kinison, people forget about him.
He's
was kind of a wild, crazy, loud.
Crazy.
Had some good stuff.
Yeah, so controversial, I have to put him up top.
Okay, I'm going to give
this
you
is
some
not saying
names.
the best. This is controversial, right?
I'm going to give you some names. See what you think.
Okay.
I like to do this. I like to ask you your top ones, and then I like to give you some names to give me feedback.
Yeah.
Okay, number 1, Andrew Dice Clay.
Yeah, I think he...
Remember when he first came out in the 90s?
Wow, it was incredible. The thing is, like, I was a kid and I couldn't rent that stuff and watch it myself, but my dad liked that shit.
Yeah.
My dad liked that extra testosterone-fueled maniac of a man.
His character.
Don't give a fuck. Total. Everything that every 80s guy wanted to be was Andrew Dice Clay.
He's big.
Badass, tough guy, full head of hair, dress however the fuck you wanted, said whatever the fuck you wanted.
Yeah. He's probably single now.
Well,
60 and not married. 3 divorces.
He's still doing stuff.
He's still doing jokes?
Yeah.
He's
But he's a caricature.
Yeah.
He's a character permanently, right?
Yeah.
And he's fucking fun to watch, man.
Hickory dickory. Remember that? Man, I would go to school saying that and getting in trouble by the teachers. What are you singing? What are you doing this?
My dad used to watch it, and I would just kind of like creep in the hallway.
Yeah.
And just sit on the floor and listen.
And just listen.
Couldn't watch it, right?
It's so crazy. They just loved him back then. Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah, he's very controversial. How about this one? One of the best. When I say George.
Carlin.
He's got to be one of your favorites. You strike me as a George Carlin guy.
I would say the greatest, if not close to the greatest of all time.
7 words you can't never say.
Dude,
7 words you can never say on stage or whatever.
His aim at society and people's lack of intellect is so brilliant.
And how he's nailing politicians today.
Yeah.
You listen to his gibberish on stage about politics, and you will see it applies to today.
Well, the thing is, for me, I think I relate to George Carlin even more because he, to me, is kind of almost like an MC with his delivery, almost like a rapper with his delivery. And for me, rap in hip hop delivery is a huge thing. Like you want to be able to bob your head to someone's words, right? Yeah. And George Carlin has a rhythm. Like he'll present his joke to you, and then he'll speed up his cadence, and he'll take you on a journey with just a whole bunch of words.
Oh yeah,
really, really fast, and you're just kind of hanging on for the punchline, and then he just drags it on until the very, very end, and then stops, and then gives you a punchline. But it's not like a blow your mind punchline. But because the build-up was so flawless, you just an MC. He was an MC.
He
used words in a magical way.
He was so talented, man.
Yeah, one of my favorites.
Yeah,
I fucking wish he was alive right now to slash this.
If you are listening to this and you're young and you don't know what the hell we're talking about, you need to Google George Carlin.
If you don't know who George Carlin is and you say you're a comedy fan, shut the fuck up. Carlin is it.
Okay, I'm going to give you another guy who I really like. I think he's super talented, and not many people like him, but his name is, he's got a show on TV, Bill Maher.
Yeah, I like Bill Maher. I like how much of an asshole he is.
He's this asshole who agrees with you.
That
that I'm an asshole.
See, the thing is, with Bill Maher, I agree on a lot of stuff that he talks about.
Yeah.
I think I have a lot of opinions that are in sync with what he talks about.
Yeah.
And the few that I don't are really offensive ones to me personally, because it kind of like diminishes his character in my eyes. Like he's very pro-Israel.
Yeah.
And I'm not a fan of that pro-Israel stance.
Yeah, super Jewish.
Yeah, but no, I think he's great at what he does. I love that show, Politically Correct.
Says the N-word on the
I didn't like that.
And then has Ice Cube on the next night.
I like that. I did like that. I like
that. Ice Cube on the next night after he drops the N-bomb.
If you're going to get someone to tell you to shut the fuck up, it should be someone like Ice Cube.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I always wonder if these guys just do this on purpose. Like they know, you know what, I can sustain a blow.
Did you see Religulous?
I saw a part of it. Yeah. I didn't watch it.
Oh, yeah. Bill Maher doesn't give a fuck.
No.
You could tell that he has used the N-word in his own communication with his immediate circle.
Yes.
There may be a few POCs in his circle that allow him to use the word and don't get extra offended.
Yeah.
Because it rolled off the tongue pretty easy.
Because he's an elitist, right? And it's just...
Yeah. And he's like extra liberal left.
Yeah.
Right? And... That's funny, man.
He's funny.
Religulous is good because I think religion should be fucked with.
Yeah.
I think he did a great job.
Oh, he did.
I'm sorry if you're religious and you're watching this. I'm sorry, but
if you're religious and you're watching this, you are not religious.
You're not gonna like our point of view of religion.
You are not religious. All right, I can give you an old name. Back in the day, what about Lenny Bruce? You ever watch him?
Yes. Okay, so
I'm pulling something out on you here. These kids, these youngsters don't even know.
Well, over the years, I've done a deep dive into comedy, deep dive, and Bernie Mac kind of like set it all off for me. I was watching some old Bernie Mac, and he had this one set where he came out and kept saying, I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. And he would play a beat and he would do a little dance and then he would go back into his thing. And he said it a few times. And are you a Bernie Mac fan?
Oh, yeah, big time.
Oh, yeah. And he set it off. So after that Bernie Mac instance, I started doing a deep dive and I got into Patrice O'Neill. Yeah. And then it led me to George Carlin. And then I just saw I try to absorb as much comedy as possible because I want to write comedy and deliver some dope comedy too.
Yeah.
And so Lenny Bruce was crazy because at that time, nobody was saying anything close to that. Comedy was very shtick comedy back then. It was
very punch, set up, and knock it down.
Yeah, call response nonsense.
Yeah.
But no, Lenny Bruce he was a savage.
He went to jail for saying cocksucker on stage.
I love it.
Right? And they actually threw him in jail. I don't know, it's in New York or it's in
that makes sense.
Something like that.
Yeah, we've penalized some stupid shit.
Yeah, 1961. Well, that was the same year. What's his name? The Doors. Jim Morrison went to jail for. I think he exposed himself on stage. Is that what he did?
I wasn't a big fan.
Or he said "fuck."
Maybe.
I want to fuck you or something, right? And they were like, don't say the word fuck. And that was 1961, man. So that was a tough year.
Stupid.
61. Stupid. All right, I'll give you one more name. I know you're going to love this one.
Okay.
Fuck the Bushes. I hate those motherfuckers. Who said that on stage? Live at the Apollo. He said that at the Apollo, and the Apollo lost it because they were big-time Bush supporters.
Chris Rock?
And they banned him from the stage for the Apollo. He said, fuck the Apollo. I don't need the Apollo.
Was it Chris Rock?
No. Paul Mooney.
Paul Mooney.
Yeah. Fuck the Bushes. I hate them.
Wow.
Right? That was it.
Fearless.
That guy with those words like changed his entire career. He never went back to the Apollo, dude. He was like, no, not going back.
I think Chappelle really helped keep his star loud.
Great comedy writer.
Man.
Brilliant dude.
He wrote with Pryor.
Yeah, wrote with Pryor. Yeah, that's right. That's why he was so big.
He never takes credit for it. Like when people interview Paul Mooney and they ask him about it, he never takes credit for the writing on the, for Pryor.
Yeah.
But fuck, he's a bad man.
He's been everywhere.
Yeah.
He's seen some things, eh?
Fuck. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of crazy stories about him.
Oh, yeah. That's another guy people should really look up. Give it a little look into Paul Mooney. He's
be ready to be offended.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Because he really doesn't give a fuck. He says some shit that just makes you like, oh.
Is he a gay comic? Or is he just pretend?
I don't know if he's out gay.
Yeah.
I think
all these years. You know what I mean?
Well, Pryor's had a lot of male relationships.
I guess so. And that's the thing, too. Back in the day, it was kind of like it was bisexuality was pretty normal.
It was shamed, man.
Right?
In public, it was shamed.
Yeah.
So,
but that's what Studio 54 and all those big clubs, you went there. That was just the Jeffrey Epstein's island of the 70s. It was Studio 54.
Let me give you a name. Maybe if you've ever done a dive into his stuff. Red Fox.
Red Fox, great.
Outside of Sanford and Sons, his stand-up material.
Yeah, Red Fox
was
really revolutionary. Like he was really the guy who got, if you think of like black people just kind of owning their lives and about owning who they were and being like, fuck man, this is it. This is the best we got. That was Red Fox, right? Yeah. He really took that kind of feeling of the 70s.
Yeah, and I think he was like one of the first comics that I can remember seeing going at people in the crowd. Oh, yeah. Like Patrice O'Neal was like he would attack people in the crowd, but Red Fox was kind of one of the first people that would like look at people in the crowd, make fun of your outfit, make fun of your
Yeah, he was
wild
great.
Man,
very wild man. Yeah. His show was great too.
Oh, I loved it.
Like they toned him down big time in that show, but right.
Yeah, you got to get paid, man.
And I wonder how much abuse he took, because he got old really fast.
Because he was a heavy smoker.
Oh, is that why?
Heavy smoker. He liked to drink.
Oh yeah. That'll do it. The
drink. He's a pimp, man. He's a pimp.
Another big pimp is a guy that gave you a little shout out on social media.
Yeah.
Arie
Spears.
Dude, that guy is fucking hilarious. Talk about a life.
Yeah, I think he's one of the most talented people ever. Because he can impersonate everybody.
Fuck, his impersonations are amazing.
Flawless. He freestyles as other rappers and switches between Jay-Z and Biggie.
That's great. I love
Snoop
that video.
Yeah, super talented. Huge shout out to Arie Spears, man. I think he's overlooked because he's kind of an asshole too. He's got a bit of an ego. He doesn't like being second, right? He likes to be top billing. And I get it. I think he's earned it. His Mad TV run was crazy. His stand-up specials are always on point. But okay, hold on. Before we go any further, did you see what I sent you about what he did in his stand-up special?
Yes.
Okay. I saw it. I was getting ready for work, having some breakfast. The rare times that I had like a good half an hour and I'm watching it. And he openly mocked. He used retards in his stand-up material.
Is that the right word to use?
No, because my mother-in-law works in this field, right?
Yeah.
She works in a home. And it's special needs, right? She works in a home with people that have special needs and she takes care of them. And it takes a special kind of person to do that
150%.
Yeah, she has to do everything, like literally, like take them to the bathroom, do their all their business.
It's a lot.
There's certain people that are put on earth, I think, that are meant to do this kind of job. She's just one of those kind of special people, right? But saying the word, like hearing a comic say the word to me is kind of funny. I hate to laugh, but it's fucking funny, man.
Yeah.
I think the way he did it is funny. I think adding the peanut butter made it a little dark.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think you have to have
He's so
that.
good.
Don't you have to have that?
I think so. And I think, you know what, we've been desensitized to it big time. Like, you know, you think about our generation, you know, we were the generation, you and I, that openly mock people.
Fuck.
We did. And I'm going to tell you that I might be divulging a secret to young people, but
I'm open
this
about
is
it.
the truth.
We've evolved.
We've evolved because when we grew up,
Yeah.
it was funny to imitate Chinese, East Indian, retarded, handicapped people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, all these people, it didn't matter. Oh, what are you? Oh, you're Chinese? Oh, thank you. Right? Like, people would do that.
Okay.
Remember, it was like that. And even imitating white people, different cultures, and imitate white people. Because it was back then, everyone wasn't so sensitive for some reason.
Well, I think I think you can still do it now as long as you're funny about it.
That's the key.
Well, because Russell Peters kills it. He does
funny.
every ethnicity, and they're all funny.
Yeah.
All the ethnicities laugh at themselves because they see themselves.
Yeah.
And I think if you nail it like that, come on, man, it's hilarious. I laugh when people make fun of the Indian accent if they can do it properly.
Remember Jim Carrey?
Yeah, he can do everything.
Handyman?
That's
I'm not handicapped. I'm
Damon
handy-capable.
Wayans.
Oh, is that Damon Wayans?
Yeah. Yeah, he did a whole movie.
Yeah.
As a disabled superhero.
Yes.
Drooling, wiping his head, the whole nine.
Yes, man. That's what I mean.
I have to admit, I introduced that movie to my kids. They were a little bit young. This is a few years ago now. And they thought it was funny. I think my daughter was offended the most out of all of us because she's in this kind of offended culture where everything's offensive. But my son thought it was pretty funny.
It's all comedy. Funny. It was like us looking at, Laurel and Hardy or something when we were kids. Looking at, the old, Dick Van Dyke show of the 50s, generation before us going, what was so funny? Oh, this was such a good show. Like your parents would be like, oh, that was such a good show back then. And we didn't know. It wasn't even funny. There was nothing even close to funny about it. Slapstick comedy, right? That's what it was, right? So I think it's definitely a generational thing. But Jim Carrey, Handyman, I remember that. And there was also a Canadian guy named Mike Ward. Who was in Quebec one night on stage, and he's doing a show, and he made fun of a disease, or he made fun of a handicapped person on stage. So he did some handicap jokes, all right? Yeah. And there was a person in the audience that was handicapped.
Okay.
And the guy's routine was either so fucking bad or it was so fucking offensive. Either one, I wish I would have saw it, right? Yeah. But it was, whatever it did, it triggered the person on the stage. And they went through intense trauma, PTSD. They got PTSD from the guy's thing. And they were able to prove it in court. And the guy was fined, what was it? He had to pay $10,000.
Oh, my God.
And $25,000. So he had to pay $25,000 in moral damages and $10,000 in punitive damages to a guy who suffers from Treacher-Collins syndrome. Right? And he also had to pay the mom. The mom was in the audience, and because of the mom's suffering, he had to pay $5,000 and $2,000.
That's fucked up.
Right.
$42,000 total out of your pocket.
Yeah, he got fined in Quebec.
Because someone's overly offended.
Really crazy. And this is the craziest part. The joke, I guess, was about the kid. Okay. So the kid who sued him was dying of this disease.
Okay.
Right? Like, it's hard. It's hard, right? So he had a Make-A-Wish thing, and the kid's fucking wish. What do you think the kid's wish was? He's a kid. He's in Canada. And he's dying from a disease. He's got Treacher's disease, right? And the only thing he wants to do is what? What do you think his last wish is?
In Canada.
Yeah, he's just a kid. He's a kid in Canada. He's got Treacher's disease, right? It's
Watch
a generic, deformities of the ears, eyes, and cheekbones and chin to the degree with the person is affected. Okay, right. It's a really terrible thing this kid was going through. So he had one Make-A-Wish, and his wish was to sing to the Pope.
To the Pope?
Yeah, this is like an old soul trapped in like a 10-year-old kid's body.
So the Pope was in Canada at the time?
No, the kid. So they flew the kid to Rome.
Wow.
And his last wish, all right? Flew the kid to Rome. He could have gone to Disneyland.
That's incredible.
This kid could have gone to like a puppy farm. You know what I mean? Like, what do? You're 10 years old. Go play laser tag. Go play fucking ball tag. No, he wants to sing.
He went to Pedophile Palace.
He has the biggest ego. They took him to Pedophile Island. They took this kid with the big ego, thinking he's going to sing to the Pope and it's going to cure him. So they take him over there, and he sings to the Pope.
Yeah.
And
shit.
Then he comes back to Canada, and he doesn't die. Right? He doesn't die.
Okay.
So the comic was making a joke about, oh, we'll fly the kid, hurry, get the kid out, to fucking Rome sing, and then he doesn't die. It's like, wait a minute, you're supposed to be dead.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like,
man.
we spent all this money, and you're supposed to be dead, right?
Yeah.
So that traumatized the kid who was sitting in the audience, just happened to be sitting in the audience. What's the chances?
So, why do you go to a comedy show if you're that easily able to be offended? I get it. The joke is fuckery. I get it.
Yeah.
But it's a comedy show.
Yeah.
If you went to the library and someone did that, okay, fine. That's a problem.
Yeah.
You went to the grocery store, it's a hate crime.
Yeah.
It's a problem.
Yeah.
But that's regular society. You're at a comedy show.
It's funny to me that, people, I get it. Like, I think what it is most of us or most people think that people are just going to naturally be human and they're going to be nice.
Nice, yeah.
Right? Everyone's under the impression that people are just going to be nice because, it's like, people. Well, and think about someone in a wheelchair. If you're bound to a wheelchair or you're bound to like handicap somewhere, you need assistance, whatever. Everywhere you go, you get first-rate treatment.
You hope.
Well, you do. Oh, can I get the door for you? Oh, let me get the door. Thanks. Thank you. Yeah. Right? Or like, hey, do you need any help? Sure, yeah, okay, go help me here. Like, people step out and help handicapped people.
Well, here's the thing, Kay. We're okay with bare minimum. Yeah. And that's the bare minimum. We're not doing anything special by helping somebody, But in our mind, we're being nice, right?
Yeah.
They're just as able, in most situations, just as able. Yeah. But we feel a little extra need.
I don't know. We're brainwashed, I think.
Stupid.
Well, shout out to Aries for keeping it real.
Yeah, man. Arie Spears. I like him. Always been a fan of his material, man. He's sharp.
Are we kind of becoming a self-censored, not self-centered, but self-censored culture? Like, are they training us in this next generation of people to go, oh, wait, I better think about what I'm going to say?
Do you feel as if that's happened to you?
I don't think that's happened to me, but what I watch of it as a 45-year-old man. All right, I don't just jump into things anymore. I know when something happens, like trends or something happens around the world, I sit back and I ask myself, why did this happen?
Yeah.
Right? We're smart enough now to understand that nothing is what it seems.
100%.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So when I look around, I start to notice that it's very easy to say something wrong. And suddenly all opportunity is off the table for you. Look what happened with BTS, right? BTS, the pop group, they got the song, oh, that shit's like dynamite. Whoa, whoa. Fuck, it's addicting when you hear
I'm
that
so
song.
glad I've never heard that in my life.
Well, they're like a South Korean thing. And
Okay.
And they a band. And they said, one of the lead singers said, hey, we want to give a shout out to the fallen families and soldiers of America and Korea. Yeah. And China got bent out of shape. Yeah. And, and China got all upset that they didn't mention China's soldiers, the 1 million soldiers they lost. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so all Chinese companies started dropping their sponsorship. Like big companies, man. And some Korean companies too, because of the pressure from China.
The fact that a superpower can still feel like they have that influence is scary. That kind of governmental influence should never be able to control freedom of speech and freedom of thought and freedom of expression. But China's dangerous when it comes to communication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes you think, like, everything you say. Like, we do a podcast and we talk and you go on stage and you're in front of people. And you know what I mean? Like, at any time, you could say, like, we've said the word retard tonight. Right? So at any point, we could be canceled. We could, if I drop this online, and someone gets offended, we're done, homie. 6 episodes in or whatever, we're done.
See, the thing is, for me, like, I think a part of a part of that is accepting the fact that someone could cancel you, right?
Yeah.
To me, it's illogical. I'm a fucking human being. I live every day.
Yeah.
You canceling me doesn't change that.
Yeah.
I'm still exactly who I am as a person. And if a person's that offended, don't fucking watch.